Good morning. Good morning. Come right on in. We'll give it a minute or two to let other folks get dialed in and situated. In the meantime, please feel free to put your chat information, your your company information in the chat box. And that's also where you'll put your questions as the presentations roll along. Miss Bianca, hi.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, Angela.
Hi. Bianca, can you contact the GLAAACC office when we're done?
Sure.
Thank you. Let's see what other business do I need to take care of here. Hi, Mike.
How you doing, Angela?
Great to see so many familiar faces. Auntie Donna. All righty. I've got 10:02, so let's go ahead and get started. Again, welcome. My name is Angela Gibson Shaw, and I have the pleasure of serving as. And today, this is our GLAAACC in the AM. And this is our special series of technical assistance for entrepreneurs that are our members and other associates and friends too as well. As many of you know, GLAAACC is dedicated to the growth and development of Black-owned businesses in the greater Los Angeles area. We seek to educate, equip, engage, employ, and empower our members for the next level of economic success. Today, we've got a very special program for you. My good friend Dana Harris has brought some folks from Cedars-Sinai, and we're going to hear about many of their programs and initiatives. As I mentioned earlier, please feel free to put your contact information in the chat box. You never know, someone may be looking and seeking your services today. And also feel free to put your questions in the chat box. And as we move along through our presentations, we'll be checking and answering all of your questions and understanding and taking a look at your comments. So let's get going. We've got a great program created for you today. Let me introduce Dana. Dana Harris is Director of Marketing at Cedars-Sinai, where she leads marketing efforts for community, advocacy, diversity, inclusion, and health equity. Her healthcare career spans 16 years from the East Coast to the West Coast and includes marketing, strategies, and developing advertising campaigns for several clinical departments: pediatrics, women's health, heart, neurosciences, orthopedics, cancer, and urgent care. Prior to healthcare, Dana was a TV journalist working as an anchor, reporter, and producer at TV stations in Virginia, North Carolina, and Louisiana. And so at this time, it's my pleasure to welcome Dana Harris to the stage. Hi, Dana, and welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Angela. Hi, everyone. We are super excited to be here today just to bring some information to this group. Hopefully, this can be an open conversation. I'm joined today with Andrew Kwok, who also works at Cedars-Sinai with Supplier Diversity, and Alvin Stafford, who we've been working very closely with through Think True. So you'll hear a little bit from them today as well, as far as the supplier diversity journey at Cedars-Sinai. So we have some slides to share with you. I want to talk a little bit about who Cedars-Sinai is, and then I'll toss it to Andrew and Alvin to dig a little deeper. So let me share my screen.
Dana, you're on mute.
Again, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, let me try one more time.
Yes, we see. Okay, now you have to come off mute.
It's not allowing her to screen share and then.
Okay.
Looks like we're having some technical difficulties. Hopefully you could see that okay. Let me pull this back up and see if this works. Are you able to hear me okay now?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Sorry about that, but hopefully you could see a little bit about who we are as Cedars-Sinai. And I wanted to also show this slide just to give you a sense of some of the numbers at Cedars-Sinai. A lot of times people think of Cedars-Sinai as one singular hospital, but we actually are a health system. So we have several affiliates. I've listed some of those on the left. So we actually own a hospital in Marina Del Rey. We also have affiliates in Torrance and Pasadena at Huntington Health. And then we also have a couple of joint ventures, one in Providence, as well as one with the California Rehabilitation Institute. So collectively, when you look at all of the numbers, we have over 2,200 licensed beds, 20,000 employees, so lots of people working at Cedars. 5,300 of those are medical staff. So those are physicians who have privileges to treat patients at Cedars-Sinai. We have 12 clinical institutes, so that could range from our Heart Institute to our neurology, neurosciences services that we also offer, cancer, etc. 222 ambulatory clinics. So these are various clinics that you'll see throughout Southern California. They may not be actually at the hospital, but we have several clinics where we offer additional services across the region. 2 million hospital based outpatient visits. So when people come to us just for a procedure and leave same day, those are outpatient visits. Then we have 100,000 hospital admissions. So when people actually stay overnight for treatment, 310,000 emergency room visits. So our ER stays very busy. And then in addition, we are doing a lot in the academics and research space. A lot of times people don't realize that we offer a lot of academic programs. So when you look at our residencies and fellowships combined, we have 92 of those. So doing a lot to help sort of advance the mission of bringing people into the medical field as well. And then in addition to our clinical services, we do a lot in the community. And I think a lot of times people don't realize, part of our mission is really helping the community and providing access to healthcare services. And so when you look at all of our programs across community health, diversity, inclusion, health equity, we have 49 initiatives that are dedicated to that community health space. That includes things like primary care, nutrition, maternal health services, preventative services, educational programs, really offering educational opportunities for our youth and making sure we're diversifying the pipeline of people who are coming into the medical field. When you look at how many places we are, there's 170 sites across LA that we're providing these services. So we have lots of programs in schools. We offer programs to help children with and health, mental health, as well as emotional wellness. We do a lot with community centers and churches. We offer free vaccinations, free health screenings. So we're really out there trying to make sure we're providing these services to our community. We've also awarded more than $200 million in grants and sponsorships, again, as an extension to providing more access. And really, when it comes to our grants, we're making sure we're supporting organizations in areas around housing stability, food security, and again, additional access to healthcare, because a lot of times people can't even think about their health if they don't have those everyday services that they need. We administered over 3,000 vaccines, 1,100 health screenings in the last year, and we're also a top provider of charity care and financial assistance since we started in 1902. Again, just another fact that a lot of times people don't necessarily know. We treat all people at Cedars-Sinai. And that map on the right is sort of the combined impact of all the places we are across the LA region. So again, just a little bit of background about who Cedars-Sinai is. And now I'm going to introduce our sort of keynote speakers today. So Andrew Kwok is our Associate Director of Supplier Chain Diversity at Cedars-Sinai. Andrew and I work very closely together in our roles, making sure that we are connecting the dots with the community to Cedars-Sinai. In his role, he advances strategic supplier diversity initiatives and builds partnerships with external organizations to create a positive impact in the community. He has over 20 years of experience spanning public and private sectors, including government, energy, and utilities. So we've been very blessed to have him on our team the last few years, and so you'll hear a little bit from him. And then Alvin Stafford, Alvin and I met almost a couple years ago. He is the founder and CEO of Think True, which is a multicultural marketing agency in LA and has clients across the country. Alvin raised in Compton and has real roots here in LA. Under his guidance, Think True has become synonymous with delivering award-winning campaigns and activations that authentically connect with all communities. And he's really committed to philanthropy and really providing programs that uplift our South LA communities. So you'll hear a little bit from Alvin about our journey together as we've been working with his agency on a new community campaign and really how we are activating at various events across LA. So with that being said, I'm going to toss it over to Andrew.
Thank you, Dana. How's everyone doing? Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I just kind of want to start off by saying I really love the theme of kind of these morning series. I jotted down education, equipped, engage, and empower. And I want to say that, I really internalized that and thought that's the way to move things forward. That's a perfect way to advance. So kudos on the 4 E's. I might have to borrow that in the future, but I'll let you know, Angela and GLAAACC. But on a more serious note, just want to say thank you for having us, and thank you for organizing this. We realize that this takes a bit of work, and so I'm so grateful to kind of share this time with all of you today. And I hope that through sharing some information today, really on our vision with supplier diversity and impact spending, that it might be helpful in some way for you. I'll also just say that feel free to contact me anytime. In a bit, I'll share my contact information. I really think of all of you as partners. And with that, I'm going to jump into the slide. So the way we're looking at supplier diversity is that it is really integrated into how we approach our sourcing process. Cedars-Sinai, like many larger and complex organizations, we use a 7-step process. And what does that mean exactly? So what I want to start off with is really, I'm not going to go through every single bit, but I want to maybe just illustrate that, as a hospital, the decisions that we make around spending, contracting, procurement. These all have implications, and we hope that it's in a positive way, right? Beyond kind of the cost conversation, we realize that new products can sometimes um, take a while to be integrated and to be purchased. But we do have a process, and really our goal and larger picture in having this 7-step process is to provide visibility around where we are in the sourcing process. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's about creating and delivering value really to our patients at the end of the day. So this is used very thoughtfully and intentionally. And so when we talk about category assessment, I'm going to go through this really quick because many of you might in this room may be very familiar with this process. But if not, we can certainly spend some time after this. But when we talk about category assessment, which is our very first step, it's really understanding what are we actually buying, right? Like how much are we spending in this category for this product? Who is purchasing this? Why is this critical? And then what it typically leads into is requirements gathering, which is our second step, right? So in addition to just defining what we really need, it's and going beyond a spec sheet, it's really asking our end users, which are our clinicians, our physicians, our nurses, researchers, really what matters to them in terms of that product. So it's a team effort, but we go through a step where we gather all of the requirements so we can help support whatever category we're actually purchasing. And then we'll kind of move into a strategic development process, which is the third one. Now, we will often take what we learn from these conversations and then design an approach. And so, we'll often ask ourselves, and I'll use gloves as an example. We'll often ask ourselves, does it make sense to bundle all of the, gloves that we're purchasing, right? So that we have a little bit more, we can create a little bit more value. Or is it an instance where we really need to diversify our supplier base to build more resiliency in our supply chain? As you know, kind of during these times, our supply chain process, just nationally, internationally, can be quite fragile. So, this step helps us kind of make a decision on some of these decisions that we'd like to make, right? And sometimes it may make more sense to purchase locally, may make more sense to purchase with diverse vendors in this area. But this is the step where we help that helps guide us. And then ultimately we go into our fourth step, which is strategy, execution, negotiation, and contract award is the following phase. And then we implement and transition the supplier. Sometimes it may be a new supplier, and we go through a change management process. But ultimately, we think of this step when we say transition is really that opportunity to communicate very intentionally. And then building processes, if there are any, identifying that as well. But your true change management process takes here. And then our very last step finally is what we call supplier relationship management. This step helps us establish a deeper relationship with our supplier or our vendor. At Cedars-Sinai, because we work with so many vendors, one of the things that we're trying to get at is through that relationship, how do we again deliver more value to our vendors? I'm sorry, to our vendors, but also to our patients as well too. So that's the 7-step process for hospitals and in healthcare. I would say, we use this, other hospitals use this, but part of my intention of sharing this information is if you're not familiar with healthcare hospitals, I hope that this might inform you quite a bit. Really, through a lot of my conversations and engagements, I find that for someone that's starting off, this is a great space to kind of familiar yourself with. Now, another kind of frequent asked questions I get is, what do we purchase, right? And so you can imagine a hospital, we purchase many things. We purchase things in a clinical category, non-clinical category, but what you see listed here are just a small sample of different categories that we do purchase. You can imagine uh, if you're looking through kind of each bullet point, there are maybe sub bullet points, right? Subcategories that we purchase as well. But ultimately, because we make a lot of purchases, we have various RFPs. The 7-step process helps guide us as we navigate through this. And we want to ultimately do this extremely efficiently. One of the things that I'll say about hospitals and healthcare that many of you do know is that we are here for the community. We're an anchor institution and we're open 365 days, right? So we're constantly looking for vendors to depend on. We think of vendors as a strategic partner and also an extension of who we are. And so this all kind of falls into that strategy, or if you will. With that, Dana, if you could, next slide. Yes. So I think most importantly, I was preparing for this conversation today, this discussion, was I often get asked from suppliers who are interested in working with Cedars-Sinai, either supporting our medical center or our health system in general, is, how do we get connected? How do we prepare? One of the things that I always like to just remind folks is that I feel like Cedars-Sinai, I'm not kind of patting anyone on their back, but Cedars-Sinai is one of the organizations I feel like we post a lot of information, right? And so feel free to research kind of some of the exciting things that we're working on, whether it's through social media, whether it's through our website platform, or through the news. I think that generally gives you an idea of where we're moving as an organization, what we're committed to as well too, and that gives you a sense as to how you want to maybe pitch your organization, either to someone like myself or to someone that's closest to kind of that body of work or to that category. I also like to just say that I find a statement capabilities to be extremely valuable. Oftentimes, uh, that helps me understand your category. Again, we purchase from a lot of categories. I happen to just specialize in just a few, but the statement of capabilities helps me, someone like myself or someone in supply chain, understand, the depth of your knowledge and your expertise and the products that you do provide or the services that you provide. The kind of your graph on your right, I'm a big believer that I think relationships do matter, especially during these times where um, there's just so much going on that being able to pick up a phone and ask if if you provide a service or you provide a product, that is something that I think adds a lot of value, right? And I just think that in when we talk about relationships, I kind of want to share that we've been expanding our footprint in the supplier diversity space. So you can often find information on where we are. We support a lot of organizations such as GLAAACC and some other local organizations in LA that do a fantastic job of business advocacy and business development. We are connected to some state organizations and also national organizations as well too. I'm often out there just trying to help connect the dots. Again, we're an organization with over 20,000 employees. And so I would imagine, and I always share this, both my parents were small business owners at one time. And, small business, you wear many hats. And for someone like us, for someone like myself, what I try to achieve or what I try to do is at least help our small business community, our diverse business community navigate through a very complex organization, and how we can save you time. So I want to encourage you to come out to the outreach events, but also one organization that we one organization that we work very, very closely with, and I happen to also be the chair of our Supplier Diversity Committee, is the Hospital Association of Southern California and Communities Lifting Communities. This organization represents 170 hospital members. So if you're interested in expanding into the healthcare hospital space, this is a fantastic organization to work with. So in addition to connecting with an organization like Cedars-Sinai, you can also connect with other hospitals that we have in this region that's doing some great work and helping patients heal as well too. So preparation and connection are kind of two things that I want to leave you with. And then Tina, if you could go to the next slide here. And this is my last slide here, but I want to, when we get to the Q&A, I hope you'll have some questions for me. But this is how you can contact us. We have a Supplier Diversity email box, or you can contact me directly. My email address is andrew.kwok@cshs.org, or you can visit our website. This is a website that we update on a regular basis where you can find more information about us. But I'll just say that I'm very passionate about this work, and I'll also say that whenever I meet with small businesses, I think you're so courageous. And for me, on a personal level, want to do anything I can to help support your dream, because not everyone wakes up, and says, "Hey, I want to start a business," right? And to really that end, I want to do everything we can to help support that in some way or form, because your dreams are important. And if there's a way that that I can help execute and implement a program that helps make things easier, why not? So we are here for you. As you saw in the video, my name's Andrew Kwok, and feel free to reach out to me. I'm a friendly guy, promise. All right. So with that, I want to turn it to Alvin, who's going to provide some insights. Again, you heard from Dana about how Think True is a strategic partner to us, but most importantly, wanted to provide a case study of Think True, and who better than Alvin to do that. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Alvin.
Appreciate it very much, Andrew. Good morning to all of you GLAAACC members. Thank you, Angela and GLAAACC, not only for kind of what you've set up today in this conversation and this exchange, but just for the work that you guys have been doing over the years. GLAAACC is not new to this type of support and resource and engagement. And I just want to just acknowledge the work that you guys are doing and say thank you for setting up this platform. Cedars, you guys saw the litany and the kind of plethora of work that they've done through our community. They haven't always been known as a community hospital, but we're so grateful for the work that they've been doing in the community, even silently. I just want to corporately thank them for the work that they've been doing, sometimes with not a lot of applause, but very steady in our community. I'm grateful to Dana that she saw fit to include me in this conversation today. I appreciate not only the working relationship, the friendship that we've developed, and I think that is really the theme. I'm kind of piggybacking on a lot of the conversation that Andrew was having. That's really the theme of today. If I had to theme it, we are Think True. My name is Alvin Stafford. I've been kind of in the marketing, branding, experiential space for over 20 years. I'm not only a small business owner, but I'm a stakeholder in the LA community. The name of our company is very synonymous with kind of who we are. We think true to ourselves, think true to our clients, and we are true to the work that we do and the communities that we represent. We truly, honestly believe that to build the best brand experience, the people and the who should be at the heart of it. So when we engage with our clients and our clients engage with us, we really start off with who we're talking to, how are we representing them, and how can we make those communities better. And I think that'll ultimately check the box and give a win to the brand, as well as make the community feel supported and encouraged by it. And I think that theme and the cycle that Andrew kind of took you guys through is very much in line with that. There should be some reciprocity in the brand and in the communities that they serve. Um, I think true. I realize that we are in the service industry, and I really want to encourage all of us, no matter what you're providing as an entrepreneur, as a small business, to look at it from the lens of being in service. I tell my team, we're not. We are marketing and branding and experiential agency, but the reality is, I want to run it like a restaurant, because the client really is the most important part of it. You don't do well by having someone come in and you serve them one time. You do well by creating repeat customers, and the only way to create repeat customers is to, one, deliver great service so that they feel like not only was the meal good or what you delivered was good, but they feel like that they matter and that you care about their involvement in your work and supporting their business. And if you can get your organization to look at the work or whatever you deliver in that manner, then I think that your clients will be happy. And then there are sometimes when you go to a restaurant and what they ordered didn't come out the way that they wanted it to, and you have to go back and send it back into the kitchen and bring it back out. And that's the reality of it. Sometimes you're not gonna do well off one meal. You do well off multiple meals. So there are some times where there has to be a sacrifice made to make sure you deliver great service. And I just think that should be the forefront of how the pillar at which you build a small business. Those are, then you can go to the next slide. That's kind of who we are. We're a brand marketing experiential agency. We really concentrate on community, and we define it by kind of differently. Community really isn't just geographically. It is also by segment or by business unit. We look at the entertainment community. We look at the sport community. We also look at more specifically women's sport community. Like we really do define community differently. We want to make sure that each time we build a campaign, it is a reflection of that community specifically, because basketball in New York is very different than basketball in LA and basketball in Chicago. Healthcare in Compton is very different than healthcare in Beverly Hills. So each one of these has to be crafted, and the dialect of the information really have to be specific to that particular community. I am proud to say we are minority owned and minority led. And in this climate, we know that is under attack. So if I can be just transparent with you guys about that. However, the work is not under attack, right? The nomenclature and the titles may be under attack, but there's still a very, very important work to be done in each one of our communities that are being represented by the work. So we've focused to really, really leaning into the work opposed to the nomenclature or the title. And I really think that we've seen success in it because the communities and people of color in these communities specifically, we're still such a large voice in the consumer base that we have to be spoken to. So in order to do that, we need to do it authentically. We design, we're research driven. We make sure that each time we craft a campaign, it's not an accident, it's not a luck. We do kind of research. Some of the stuff, all of the stuff that we present are really driven and focused on research. Then you can go to the next slide as well. And we are, as Think True, we are full service. We have account team in-house, full production team in-house, strategy design, business administration, social, everything. Most of the stuff that we do are in-house. However, in a scenario where for like Cedars, sometimes there are services that we don't provide that we need to make sure that we have great partners for, right? And I think that not only is your network or what you do is important, but it's also to make sure that you vetted partners that also align with your same type of values. So not only do we come to the table with who we are, we come to the table with the people around us to make sure that they're also with the same type of mentality and services. As a small business and entrepreneurs, we are so eager to do the work that sometimes we oversell ourselves for stuff that we can't do. And I think that it's also important to be able to say, hey, this is what I do. These are the things that we don't do. However, we have partners to partner with to make sure that we can get it done at this level. So that's really important so that your experience that you create for your clients won't be disjointed and it won't be something that's not true to who you guys have with Cedars is probably over 20 years in the making, if I'm being honest. I was connected to Dana by someone that I worked with over 20 years ago. And because of the work that we did over 20 years ago, I didn't have the opportunity of being presented to Dana. So my statement or my admonition to all of you is to make sure you do right by the people that you're currently working with. Do great work for your current clients. You have no idea how those clients are going to be promoted, who they're going to meet, who they're going to be in an elevator with, who they're going to be at dinner with, and that may open a door to an opportunity like this because it wasn't an RFP. It was an absolute, hey, I know someone that lives, works, thrives in this community. And they deliver great work. And it was a phone call that was made, and then an introduction that was made, and then obviously you have to come through and deliver. But it really is about the relationships that you build. We are a relationship-based agency. We don't have a sales team. We're 100% word of mouth and referrals by our clients and by how we've grown. One that has allowed us to go deeper with the people that we work with. Really, really, really understand who you're doing business with and what their goals are, so that you can then, when they ask you or when they come to you, you can really deliver, not based on what your needs are, but what their needs are. So that allows us to go deeper, and then it allows us to be better. Right? If you really understand your consumer and your client, you can actually be an extension of them, so that you can already be thinking about some of the solutions to the problems that they're having. So that's when I say full service. And then there's a lot of back end work that has to go into this, making sure that we're compliant in a lot of ways, making sure that we have all our insurances, and that making sure that we have all the certifications that we need in order to deliver for a brand like Cedars. And I think that that's also some of the investments that we need to make as small businesses and entrepreneurs. How are you, if they do come to you, and when they do come to you, when the opportunity does present itself, how ready are we? How do we have the capital to deliver? Do we have the resource team and the to be able to scale at a certain level? And I think that's also part of the preparation to having a conversation, because I can be honest. When I first started 5 years, I probably couldn't have taken on a client of this magnitude, because the expectations are different, and the accountability. So just making sure that in all this full serviceness, that the back end of our work, the back end of our systems, everything from the business of it, supports what we're able to deliver on the front end. I think I'm almost finished talking, Dana. You can take us to the next slide. And over the last few years, we've been able to build some really cool relationships, and deliver some award-winning work for some really large brands. Again, every single one of these are relationship-based conversations, one that led to another, that led to another, that led to another. And that is something, truth be told, that I'm really, really proud of, because I think that's how you ultimately how you build a company and a business space that will allow you to that allow you to scale responsibly. And then each one of these also are they're all different personalities. They're all like each client has a different personality and a different expectation. And being able to meet all of those and from a service minded perspective is important. And then I think there's one more slide after this. I think I've gone through this multicultural, the experiential side of it, content production, creative design, visual guide, web, email, like all the gamut of marketing. The way that I like to describe experiences is every single time a consumer touches your brand, that's an experience. I don't care if it's via email, social media, in real life, in like in person, however, whenever, from the invite to the valet, every single time a consumer touches your brand, it's an experience. And we should all think about our own selves as a brand, our own companies, our own businesses as a brand every single time. So I need you should probably go through every single touch point, everything from your social to your LinkedIn to your website, and make sure that they are all cohesive and that they are all telling a very the story that you want it to be told, and then so that no matter where they go, they have the same experience. And then I'll focus on the Cedars case study after this, Dana. So Cedars, if how transparent can I be? That Cedars was doing for that work, right? There you saw all the touch points and all the investment and the grants. You saw it. That didn't happen last year. That had been happening over a long period of time, but yet the perception was Cedars is a hospital for the rich. So Dana and her team and it was like, hey, we need to change that perception. How can we do the same work, but really have a presence and let them see the work that we're doing without necessarily patting ourselves on the back, but just continuing it to let the community know that we're here for them. And we did a whole bunch of research. We went to a lot of different people. We knocked on a whole bunch of different doors, and we came up with some really cool campaigns. This was really intricate in making sure that that Cedar's voice was heard in every single conversation that we had. And Dana, she really kind of almost like turned into some of these meetings to make sure that we didn't lose what the KPI was on the project. And then I think that over a year's time, we were able to gather all this information and research to come out with a really cool campaign. One, to change the sentiment of the internal employees, so that internally those employees can have a greater appreciation for the commitment that is being made to these communities. And then externally, the consumer can really appreciate and receive the commitment that Cedars has made to the community. And I think I don't want to toot our horn or anything, but I really do. I'm really proud of the work that we've been doing, Dana. I really think that over the long period of time, we'll start to see not just the engagement for the community change, but the sentiment and the feeling around the hospital changing within the community. And so I'm really excited about that, and I'm looking forward to continuing and going deeper on our relationship, not only with the community and D&I scene, but throughout the rest of the firm as well. So it's exciting. There's so many major events that are coming to LA, and we want to make sure that Cedars is in the forefront of that, and making sure that it's getting the notoriety and the kudos for the work that they've and the commitment that they've been to us. So I think those are all the slides that I have, I think.
Yeah, thank you, Alvin. And just to piggyback on that, it has been a great ride together. It's so important to connect with community. Me and my team were very passionate about that. And so being able to, find Alvin, or we found each other, I suppose. It's been a really great journey together, and I'm excited for what's to come. I'm actually going to skip to this slide since we're talking about community, just to give you a snapshot of sort of where we're headed in the next few months, in case any of you are interested in coming out and joining us or stopping by and seeing us. We have several events in October where we will be out and about. We have a new partnership with Keep It 100, which is a local run club. I'm sure many of you have heard of them. They have a couple of events next weekend, a senior walk as well as a half marathon. So we'll be out there sharing information about our community resources and programs. We actually have a community friends and family flu clinic at Cedars-Sinai. So if you are looking for a free flu shot, please come out, join us. We'll be giving flu shots out from 9 to 12. Again, those are free flu shots. We'll also be at Sick La Via as well as Taste of Soul. We were at Taste of Soul the last few years. Such a fun event. So come by and check us out. Another free flu clinic at St. Basil Church towards the end of October. Also a sponsor for Black Men's Wellness Day. Excited about that. And then we will also be at the KBLA Radio Health Fair in November. So please join us. I've also included a website there if you want to learn more about our community initiatives, cedarsinai.org/here4LA. You'll see more of that Here for LA look and feel and tone coming out in many of our marketing efforts. And then also my contact information if you have any questions after this webinar. Happy to connect with you and learn more from there. So with that, I am going to take questions. We'll get into the Q&A.
Great. Thank you, Dana. And that's great presentation, both Alvin and Andrew. Andrew, I love the categories that you presented about the, various disciplines in which you procure. And so, Alvin, if you could take a minute and share a little bit about how you would suggest that folks here on the Zoom call today would go about packaging and presenting themselves to Cedars. I know that I see in the chat everybody's telling you what their products are, and they're asking you if you buy what they sell. But after this is over, what would you suggest the next steps kind of be?
Yeah, if I had, I would extract one of the directives out of Andrew's slide and sure that you have your capabilities fully created.
Yes.
And then I will reach out to him first, specifically Cedars. But your capabilities should be a reflection of who you are, what your mission and your vision is going to be, and then the work that you've done. I
Say
think
that again.
who you are, who your agency is, where's located, what areas it touch, what you do, and then ultimately the work that you've done, right? And I think that those are the kind of three pillars that the capabilities in our that I've divided ours up into, and make sure that you get that into the hands of Andrew, because I think this is what this is all about, and also send it to myself. And I saw a couple in the chat. I'll put my information in the chat. I saw some saying, okay, how can we support you through that effort as well? So I'll make sure that we've one of the KPIs that I have established for Think True internally is to make sure that we hire the businesses that represent the communities that we're servicing. So we have a high mark. I'm like 75 to 80% of the vendors that we personally use are from the communities that we're touching. So that is something that is very, very important to me and to us, and it's one of our missions. So I'll send my information in this chat as well, so that we can continue, so we can support each other.
Oh, great. Okay, that's great stuff. And we certainly will compile the recording and put together again all of the contact information for yourself and Cedars, Dana, Andrew, and yourself to send out to the folks that are here on the call today and those that weren't able to make it either. And so what kind of consulting does Cedars-Sinai? What kind of consultants do you guys use, Andrew?
Yeah, Angela, I'll take that
Mhm.
question. I mean, we use all types of consultants. So it can range from IT consulting all the way to HR consulting. I've seen some categories, some consulting and um, various buckets in our organization. So, just know that I would maybe just advise that if you're in the consulting organization, what we love to see oftentimes, and I get this feedback from my end users, right? And my end users are the folks who are directly needing the support to establish that contract, is often they like seeing any healthcare experience. But I'll also say that if you don't have that healthcare experience, put other put your experience that you think would be relevant to healthcare. I think that's important to know because um, we're always learning from other industries, and there are certain processes that um, are exceptionally well executed in other industries that may not have spilled over to healthcare yet, that we may want to emulate or implement. And so I would just say, in your statement of capabilities, feel free to add that. Don't be shy about that.
Great. Another question here is what type of certifications do you need to do business with Cedars?
Yeah, there is no specific certification that is required to do business with Cedars-Sinai or any of its entities or affiliates. What I'll just say is that, we keep certification information so that we can do a report out. You talk about KPIs. This is something that we're very focused on is, for every contract we put in place, is it making an impact? Those certifications help lead us in that direction so we can gather that information and do a report out and provide some transparency on that. So hopefully to answer your question, but I'll just say that certifications aren't required, but it is very important because it helps us quite a bit from an internal operation standpoint.
Great, thank you. Okay, yeah, I think that's key to research, create your capability statement, and then connect with you, including some of those things that you said. And then also, Alvin gave us some great points. All right, let's see if there are any other questions here. This was great information. And thank you, Alvin, for the work that you've done. And Dana, you guys, and Andrew. I know Andrew knew you from your former life and other places that you've been, and you certainly are putting a community face to Cedars for me. And so that's great. Okay, I think we then, because we have a number of wellness folks that are members of GLAAACC, and I know that they're going to be reaching out to you to see that, if maybe they can consult with you. We've got a lot of folks that have retail and they want to put things in your gift shop. So again, it's really the way that they package themselves, right? To approach you. Would you agree?
Yeah, I see a question on the topic of gift shops, Angela. I think this is a question from Miss Mills. Just wanted to answer that question directly. We don't have a third party running it. Actually, we have someone on staff that's running it. I'd be happy to connect you with that particular person, Jonathan. Uh, his last name escapes me. I have to love it, but be happy to connect you. And maybe you have an item that might be um, worth exploring in terms of getting it into our gift shop.
Right. Okay, great. I think they are looking for all the emails I see.
I think I saw a question about video production.
Okay.
Um, how do we source sort of, I guess, companies that we work with for visual media advertising efforts, video production? To Alvin's point, a lot of times if things come across my desk, I sort of take a look at sort of what's presented at me. I mean, we have vendors who reach out all the time, I will admit that, but it does help to have a connection. So that, of course, will sort of move your information likely to the top because someone has recommended you. But it's really about sort of the scope of what you're able to provide. So we do lots of different projects. It could be something as big as a TV commercial, which of course is a lot more intensive, to smaller videos like patient testimonial videos, social media related videos. So it really just depends on what we're seeking at the time and what your company can provide. So, but always feel free to reach out to me if there's any questions there.
Great. Okay, did you guys see any other questions? Who are you looking for as far as photos and art?
We
What are you
actually
looking for? Yeah, I'm sorry.
We actually have an in-house photography and videography team. So a lot of times we'll use internal resources for that. But if there is a need where they cannot either cover an event or a shoot, it really just depends on what, I guess, the event is. If it's something simplistic where we just need some sort of simple photos taken is one thing versus more of like an advertising shoot where we're looking for a certain look and feel. It's really just looking again at the capabilities of the company at that time.
Okay, does Cedars have an agency of record for all marketing efforts?
We do. We actually just started working with Cross Media. They're our new agency that we're working with moving forward starting this year.
Okay, what about research surveys or focus groups? Do you have
We
any?
do a lot of that. In fact, I know Alvin and team, we've done a lot of that to inform the community campaign that we've been working on. So it's so important to hear from consumers before you try to come out with a message. So always seeking companies that can help us with that type of work, both quantitative and qualitative research.
Okay. Did you say cross media? I'm not.
Cross media, yeah,
Oh,
that's the name.
okay. She did. She said cross media. All righty. So lots of questions here, but of course, please prepare your package, your capability statement, your information about your company, put your best foot forward, and then provide that information. Of course, you tell them that you met them here at GLAAACC in the AM. That's a connection already that you have. Let's see. Can you tell us more about the supply diversity related construction needs?
Yeah, Angela, I can take that question. For we're always looking for. So I partner with our group, which is called the FPDC. It's our facilities construction group. They also handle design as well, and they are they have a number of projects underway. I would highly encourage you to send your information to me. Be interested in understanding kind of your area of specialty to see kind of if there is a match and an opportunity. I'll just say sometimes it's about timing of that opportunity. That's a very large factor. But I kind of going back to one of my bullet points on one of my slides is let's start off with a relationship and let's connect.
All right, there you have it. Let's see. I saw. Do you have a specific distributor for health wellness products?
Yes, we have Medline is our distributor for med surge supplies, and
Okay.
be happy to connect you with them if you have a product that you think could add value or could help enhance patient safety. What kind of the nature of this question is, I also want to cover something called value analysis, right? Which is kind of in everyday terms is, imagine if you're in our household, the way I like to kind of relate to it is in our household, sometimes we'll need to buy a new appliance like a refrigerator or a stove or whatever, gadget or car. You don't, people in making these large purchases usually do not just look at price alone. They're really looking at value. And so they're looking at, and what do we mean by value? It can sometimes be things like kind of quality, the impact on the family household and so forth. Does it save people time? So we do have a very structured process called value analysis. And if there is a product that we're introducing kind of to our supply chain, that's part of the boxes that we have to check off. It's very intensive. So I always like to mention it because there are a lot of great products out there. But we use this process to stay kind of efficient. Um, and it certainly helps us because there are, again, a lot of products in the healthcare space.
Right, very good. Someone asked about your goals. Do you have goals for MBEs, WBEs, NB? Yeah. See,
Yeah, so we don't specifically have a quota in place. We are an organization that seeks to serve the communities that we do serve. Um, so, really in short, um, we don't have metrics or goals, but certainly this is something that we provide, again, a lot of transparency around in terms of how we're doing and areas of opportunities.
very good. Someone was asking about your hospital locations. That was covered in your Cedars-Sinai by the numbers. And so we'll also be sending out a copy of the presentation, folks, that you guys can take a deeper look at and have an opportunity to really study it. And as Andrew mentioned in the beginning, go online and do your research for Cedars to help you familiarize yourself with, as Alvin says, who your client, who your customer is. Before you approach them, you don't want to approach them and start asking them a lot of questions about who they are. That's some research that you want to do beforehand. And so this was great information, Dana. I agree. Thank you again, guys. Let's do a round of applause for our speakers today in Cedars. And I do remember being a part of some focus groups now, right, Dana? A long time ago. So yeah, is
That's
that right?
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you
Okay.
for joining us. Yeah, for
Yeah.
that.
So I'm glad that that informed how you have guys have evolved. And Alvin, did you lead that focus group?
I don't.
I
Well,
don't think you
may
led
have.
that
I don't think. I don't think I was involved in that.
in
Yeah,
that particular one.
yeah. I just have the boss title. They're really.
I can say we definitely worked with this team. I know Brianna mentioned we're like lock and step. So yes, she helped us with that.
Okay, great. Well, that's good. Yeah, this was great. Okay, well, welcome to the GLAAACC family. And now, folks, we're going to turn our attention to some GLAAACC updates and events and opportunities for it. First, let me give a shout out to our entire GLAAACC team. They're the ones that reached out and worked with the Cedars team, as well as each of you to invite you here today. And we have Naomi Scott, who is our Director of Operations. Let me get my view here so I can see what's going on. Where are you, Naomi Scott? There she is in the middle there, Director of Operations, and also running our BEP program, our Business Evolution program. That's our entrepreneurial boot camp that we run. And I see many of our new cohort here. So I'm so glad I will mark you present today and staying active, Auntie Donna. Yes. And so also like to introduce then Jessica O'Davis, who runs our special events, Ed Fund, and social media. And there she is in the corner there. That's on me. Okay. I see some other BEP alum here. And so if you guys can raise your hands, we've got several classes of entrepreneurial folks that have graduated from our boot camps, and I'm sure they will all be reaching out to you because that's how we taught. That's what we advise them to do. And then also Courtney Walls, who is our administrative assistant. And I'm going to go to Courtney first to talk about an initiative that GLAAACC has called Get in the Game.
Can y'all hear me?
Okay, we can now.
So GLAAACC is partnered with Get in the Game, which is an initiative to help prepare small businesses for procurement opportunities for the approaching 2026 World Cup, NBA All-Star Game, the Olympics and the Paralympics. So what they have available is a supplier resource hub that is free to register on. You can register, get your business signed up, and then you can be connected with resources and advisors to help improve your business and make sure you're ready for those contracts that are coming. So that is a really great initiative that we have for all these upcoming events. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the GLAAACC office and I can answer a little bit more thoroughly about anything specific you might want to know. But it's a really good resource if you're looking to get connected to the upcoming events that are coming. So
Great. And that's an initiative that we also are partnering with the LA Area Chamber of Commerce. And then we also have another initiative with Ready, Set, Compete. And so we'll be sending that information out to everybody that's on the call. And that's getting small, diverse businesses, again, ready to participate and compete in all these upcoming global games. As you know, the World Cup is in 2026. There is a NBA All-Star game that's also coming up. We've got a Super Bowl. I don't know. I think we might have a WrestleMania, but there are lots of global games that are taking place in Los Angeles from 2026 all the way up through the Olympics. And so that's a different kind of procurement process than, you know, the annual everyday kind of selling of goods and services. These are big, high profile global events that require a little different cadence to them. And so we want to make sure that our members are ready to compete, if not inside the stadium and venues, outside the stadium and venues, in fan fest events. And many of the folks that are participating and the countries that are coming, they have their own set of needs. And so even in communities that are going to be having watch parties and doing different things, communities related to all of these upcoming global events, there's many, many ways that our businesses can plug in. And so we'll send you more information on that. And then now we will turn to Miss Jessica, who's going to tell you about some more upcoming events.
Thank you so much, Ms. Angela. And I appreciate, again, Andrew, Dana, and Alvin. Your presentation was really thoughtful, and I hope that our members found value in it. We have an incredibly packed calendar, and so we just want to share a few of our upcoming events. November, pardon me, I'll go with the Women in the C-Suite. We have our 7th annual Women in the C-Suite taking place October 29th at City Club LA. Ladies, you know that this is a premier event. Many of you have been to these in the past, and this one will be no different. It is going to be fantastic. And this year it is women leading in energy and sustainability. And more than ever in this time, we really want to make sure that we are taking care of our community and our planet in a healthy way. And so if you want to be a part of that, this year members, you get a special discount of $70. Non-members, it's $85. Make sure that you get on our website as fast as you can and register, because when we hit that So get in there before you don't have a seat to the room. We also have our GLAAACC in the AM with CWA, and that is Wednesday, November 5th. That is going to be via Zoom. And then we have our next member meetup, November 18th. That's Tuesday at 4 p.m. And we also do that via Zoom. If you want to present for member meetup, make sure that you reach out to Naomi at glaac.org to present. Otherwise, you're welcome to come and hear and be in the room and interact with the members, whether you're a member or not. But you need to reach out if you want to present. And remember that, you know, GLAAACC is here to bring all of these events to you and help connect you and bring that network even closer for you. So it's no better time than right now to join or renew. We are the premier African American Chamber of Commerce. The benefits becoming a member include networking opportunities, just like right now, access to capital, expanding your business domestically and internationally, and we're always here to advocate for policies that benefit your small business. So if you're not a member, take a moment to get that membership. If you are, make sure your membership is renewed so that you can take advantage of every opportunity that we have available for you guys today. Thank you so much. I'll pass this back to you, Ms. Angela.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. And so with that, that kind of concludes our program. We want to do Dana, any last comments? I'll toss it over to you for final thoughts.
No, I'm just, we're really honored to be here today. We're excited about continued connections beyond this conversation. Like I said, come out, see us at any events that are coming up in the next few weeks. We're out and about throughout the year, but those are sort of a condensed version of what's coming up. And we just look forward to the continued conversation. And like Angela said, we'll make sure you get all the information from the deck today.
And we'll make sure that we give you a listing of all of the attendees so that you can be on the lookout for their capability statements and their emails looking to find and connect with each of you, Alvin, Andrew, and Dana. Right, folks? Right? They're already nodding their heads. They're getting there. They're thinking about it and getting their capability statements. They're going to be shooting their best shot. So be on the lookout. All righty, right, folks? Okay. Thank you, Andrew, again, Alvin, and Dana. And I think with that, we will stand in adjournment and give you a few minutes back to your day. So you guys have a great day. Thank you again for joining GLAAACC. See you at the next one. Bye-bye, y'all.
Have a good one.